Huh? Coin? It's gone.
Where did it go?
Hello, everybody. Bill and Britt here. We're going over another one of our old videos with you. This one's fun. This was a commission that I did for a wicked cool band. Crap. I blanked on the brand name. We Fight Dragons. There we go. I don't even remember how I got this commission.
Someone emailed you.
Yeah, someone in the band or someone who was working on their music video reached out to me and said, we're filming this music video. We have this design from a video game of a helmet. We want you to make this helmet for the music video. And I was like, yes, let's do that. So this is the build of that project. And there's a twist at the end. I don't know if it's a twist. The story gets more interesting at the end. We'll cover that once we go through the whole build. But let's see how we did on the build video. And by we, I mean me. I'm pretty sure this one was all me.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, this was early on. This was one of your first build videos.
Yeah, yeah.
My guess is there isn't much build footage in it.
A lot of talking. But I did film a sweet intro.
I'm Bill Duran, and I've been building props and costumes for the last 5 years. Here at Punish Props, we make nothing but the finest replica props. Welcome to the prop shop.
Yeah, my sweet hair. Oh, that's right. I have actual footage from the music video in there. I love it.
That's Bill's helmet.
Yes.
Hey everybody, it's Bill Duran.
I didn't realize, and I guess it makes sense that this video didn't come out. The build video didn't come out until the music video did. So this video was probably released a few months after the project was actually finished. How long is this video too?
It's short.
It's only 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I missed that hat. I still have it somewhere, but it fell apart.
Oh yeah.
It's a good hat.
I put it through the laundry and it crumbled.
It was hanging on a wire. All right, here we go. Bill Duran, what's your title?
And here from Punish Props, and did you see that video? That's right, that new music video by I Fight Dragons features a helmet.
I just noticed something since I can't unhear this now when I edit. And you taught me this, if you're cutting your video together and you want to cut out space in between what you're saying, let your breath finish. Or cut it before your breath starts, because what I just heard in that cut was, "Hi, I'm Bill," and as Bill was inhaling, it cut off, and then it cut to no sound, and then Bill talking again, and that's all I hear now when I edit.
when I edit footage of myself, the only thing I hear is when my nose whistles.
Oh yeah,
on a breathing.
I try and cut those out too the best I can.
That's what it sounds like to me every time I breathe in.
Bill has a little bit of a nose whistle. Not as bad as our cat. Our cat nose whistles way louder.
Made by me! How cool is that?
Very cool.
The helmet is from a game called Constant Sea. I'll put a link to that down below.
Oh, it was just from a game?
Full video so you can check it out.
Yeah.
I built that helmet a few months ago, and I shot a whole bunch of video of the process back then, so I will let Bill
So did they do music for the game?
All
like
about it.
Credit music or something?
Take it away, Bill with the goofy hair. A couple of months ago, the fine folks over at 5PB Games came to me
so the game
to talk
company
about
contacted
building
you.
a helmet of one of their characters from the game Constant Sea. So, I did.
I guess
I started by roughly modeling out the helmet
look
in
at Maya.
Maya, and then exporting that to Pepakura
Pepakura.
Designer, where I cut it up and laid it out nice and flat so that those pieces could be printed.
I've done that for a lot, not recently, but back then I was doing that for a lot of projects. Model or low poly thing, and then use Pepakura Designer to make it into something real. I think I did that. This was well before this. This was like 3 years before that. I did the Juggernaut mask from Dota.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Exactly the same way. I made a very rough 3D model so that I could get sort of the base of the form done in Pepakura, and then I could body shop the rest of it to make it look
Yeah, that one was used as an example on our Pepakura blog post on our website, the Juggernaut one. Yeah, a more simple shape.
Right. If Pepakura is your jam, then Blender, and there was an update recently in the last couple of years of Blender that made it a lot less painful to use. But just very basic polygon modeling will get you really far when it comes to Pepakura.
Oh, I'll link this down below too. Benny from KamuiCosplay did a video where he showed a plugin for blender that acts a bit like Pepakura Designer.
Yeah.
I don't think you can be as custom with it. I didn't play around with it that much, but it lets you unwrap in a paper-like format in a very easy way.
Yeah, right in Blender.
Yeah, right in Blender.
Very cool. And that was a recent video, right?
Yeah, it's super cool.
All right.
On cardstock. Those cardstock pieces were
think I spent, like,
painstakingly
2 or
cut
3
out
days
using
just
an
doing this
X-Acto
part.
knife and a straight edge. The fold lines were scored using an awl to make it really easy to fold those pieces.
Easy.
For a little structure, I put together a skeleton.
Oh yeah, this worked out pretty well. I wonder how I would do this now, like making a big dome shape
the
like
cardstock
that.
Pepakura
just
pieces
use
were
one of Joel's
glued
3D
together
printers.
and
Yeah, his
assembled
giant
on
one.
that
That's
skeleton.
true.
This took a very long time.
It's just so hard
Once
to stay
the cardstock
symmetrical.
Pepakura pieces were all assembled in a big dome shape, the entire thing was coated in an epoxy resin to make it nice and rigid. Once that cured,
when I was growing up, we did a lot of work on my dad's boats. So I'm actually fairly familiar with using fiberglass and epoxy and that sort of stuff from growing up. So that's a technique that I gravitated towards early on, just because I was comfortable with it.
Yeah, and you taught me this method, and that's how I did the hollow mask.
That's right. Yeah.
Not the fastest method.
No.
out the skeleton part and put in some fiberglass cloth and resin on the inside, making it nigh indestructible. The outside of the dome was sanded, and then many layers of Bondo were applied.
Yeah.
These layers
So
spared out the
that's the only real downside with low poly models in Pepakura, is that you then have to fair out all the facets that are on there.
We did you did a Bondo
I
Basics
did.
video, and I think it featured this build.
It did, yeah. So if you want to know more about that specifically, there's a separate video from this project where I talk specifically about Bondo.
faces that were left behind from the Pepakura process.
But basically, you have to put on way more than you need and then sculpt it back down to the
even shape.
shape
I hit the
you
whole
want.
thing with a red primer and sanded it a whole bunch
that was
more
just
times
normal
to make
Bondo,
sure I
not
got
the
rid of all
fancy
of the
stuff.
dents
No,
and
no.
bumps left behind. Once I was happy with the shape, the entire thing was coated in a polyurethane plastic resin. This gave the outside a nice homogeneous density. That layer was also sanded.
I'll probably
and
3D
then
print it
I
now.
used
Even if I had to
that
print it in pieces
to
and then
figure out
seam it together.
where all of the facial features would be going.
Yeah,
the
that would
eye
be so
holes
much
and
less
ear
work.
holes were carefully cut out using a tiny little handsaw. And then I put a tube through the ear
These are nice
holes
shots.
to rest the big
Pretty
old ear
thoughtful,
guys
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
I am
That
impressed
tube
with how
was
much
glued
build
in
footage I
place,
got.
and then the middle part was cut out so that the wearer could fit it over their head. The top antenna piece there was made from a couple of pieces of PVC pipe in different diameters. And then the light piece for the antenna was cut out of a half-inch thick white opaque acrylic plastic. This is to diffuse the light later
That's
on.
usually how I prefer to diffuse light, is with a piece of like acrylic that's considered opaque, but it's thin enough that light will sneak through it.
Gets rid of a lot of the hot spots.
Yeah, especially since I didn't have a ton of room in that tube. I think I had like a half-inch thick piece of acrylic to really spread out that light. And then where they were filming it, it was dark enough that the light in the helmet was way brighter than anything else, so it looked awesome. And it looked just like a solid bar.
The ear pieces were cut out of various diameters of PVC plumbing fixtures.
I think I still have
and then
all
the
the
sort of C shape.
Actually,
on the
I think I
outside
just
was
recently
cut from
threw
an
out all the
8-inch
offcuts
chunk
of PVC pipe.
sheet, very carefully using a bandsaw and a scroll saw. I put more of that half-inch thick white acrylic
Yeah, there's lights in the ears,
inside
too.
of the ears, again to diffuse light, because I added some LED rings behind there. The acrylic
Ooh,
really
yeah.
diffused that light a whole bunch to give it a nice,
it does.
even glow. A seam was added down the side of each head where those sort of boop, nub things would go. The nubs themselves were
Hey, you saw that
cast
mold.
out of a
I
tiny
do.
silicone
I
mold
wondered
that
what
I
that was
You
made
don't throw,
for.
yeah, you don't throw something like that away.
Yeah, they look like little gumdrops.
do.
Whenever I have extra resin, I pour some in there.
I think we have some that got like some clear red resin, and they look delicious.
and glued into place. These are both aesthetic, and they would cover some bolts that I used to attach a functional helmet on the inside of the dome. The inside of the light up pieces were made from a vacuum formed piece of styrene that I formed over a lathe piece
Oh
of
yeah,
building foam.
I feel like I did a pretty clever job here. So the eyes light up, right? And this is a problem for like Iron Man costumes, some Batman costumes. He has the glowy white eyes. This was so that we could have the glowy white eyes and have the light spread out and diffuse, but still have enough of a little bit so that the wearer could see out of it. It was more challenging than you might think, but I'm really proud of the solution.
Just a little bit of visibility as they peek out from the edges.
I just screwed a
just
construction helmet in there.
Yeah. Man, you know, I don't think I got to see a lot of this in progress.
No, you hadn't quit your job yet, so
Yeah.
it was just me in the basement sanding away at this thing.
Those eye lights. With all of the pieces put together, I primed and painted
Kinda wish
the
I had
entire
filmed more of
helmet.
that,
I went with
how
a
the eyepiece
buffable
went together.
metallizer lacquer for the finish on this guy.
Oh, yeah, I
the whole
love this
thing
paint.
got hit with that lacquer and then buffed using a cloth about 10 minutes later. Finally, a functional hard hat was installed on the inside of the dome so that the wearer had something solid to rest their noggin in.
There we go.
Foam and a chin strap were added for comfort. To finish the whole piece off, I added a 9-volt battery and a switch that lights
all
up
runs
all
off
of
the
Okay, pause
those
it.
nice and pretty lights.
Can you rewind a little bit?
Yeah.
So it looks like, yeah, you have like little slits.
Yeah. Oh, this is perfect.
Or like it's separated.
Yeah. So I had to make the back of the eye part tapered, otherwise it would be too wide and you couldn't see around it. So that made it so you can actually see beyond these giant light up eye pucks. And then there's a very thin slit you can see along that eye.
I love how Bill's pointing at the screen.
Yeah, you guys see where I'm pointing? Right there. And that's where the viewer can see out. If you look really close on like the Ninja Turtle costumes from the 1990s Ninja Turtle movie, they have tiny little slits under there where the performers could barely see out of.
Yeah, and it's enough to like walk around. I can't imagine doing, you know, fighting in it.
Flips
but like
and stuff.
if you think about those like shutter shades, the ones that have like the grid on them, from far away you can't see the person's eyes, but if you're wearing them, it's like all you need is like just a tiny thing, and then you can see. You just can't, you know, you lose your peripheral. But that was very clever.
It worked.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as I know, no one got hurt wearing this thing.
Nice and pretty lights so that I could have a dance party.
Did you recognize the song, Britt?
Yeah, it's the belt dance song.
Felt
Hey,
that.
this was a
Felt
really
that.
fun build.
If anyone is a member of the Diamond Club from way back in the day, you know that song.
Stoked for the folks over at 5PB Games to play around with their new helmet. You can see this fella over at their game. Go check out constancygame.com. If you really liked this build video, then you're in luck because I've got a whole bunch more coming up. Make sure you go
He
ahead
doesn't even know how many more he has coming up. It's a lot.
and subscribe because you're not going to want to miss that stuff. You can also find out everything else that I've got going on my webpage at punishedprops.com.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
That's it.
That's it. What do you guys think? Should I bring that hair back? Yeah.
That was his brogue hair.
Yeah. Pretty classy. So yeah, that was a super fun build, super fun project. But here's the extended story. I remember because I finished the project and I mailed it out on my birthday. That would have been 2014. So April 4th, 2014, I was like, project's done. They're filming the video in 2 weeks. I'm gonna mail this out to California. It'll get there in plenty of time. Job well done.
And we're in Washington, so California's not that far.
A day or two it'll be. And I was mailing it to someone's house. The person I connected with, just going straight to their house, good to go. So I mailed it out. And they never got it. The postal service just screwed up. And it sat in a warehouse, we think, in California for about a month. They claimed that it couldn't be delivered to the address, even though we verified it was someone's actual real address. They get stuff mailed there all the time. The USPS screwed up big time, which sucked.
Because they had a deadline.
They had a deadline. They had a day they were going to film this this music video. They had a shoot plan. They had people scheduled. They had equipment rented. They were ready to go. And because the post office screwed up, they had to postpone all of that. And we couldn't, I called people, I talked to post office people, no one could tell me where it was. And then a month later, it showed up back at my house, broken. It was bouncing around or sitting in a warehouse for an entire month.
Yeah.
And then eventually it came back to Washington, to my house.
For some reason, I don't know why they sent it back.
I got it, ran downstairs, fixed it, put it in a box, and overnighted it to them that day. But the thing that sucks is, like, they're still going to associate that experience with me and my company. And there's not a lot I can do about it. They were like, they were really cool about it. Like, we know it's not your fault.
But still. Yeah.
And in fact, I haven't heard from them since.
I don't think that game company's still around though. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah. I have no idea. But anyway, really fun old project. The music video is out there still. You can go watch it. And the build video still not bad. Not bad. Some good techniques in there.
So that was our one breakout into making a helmet for someone. Because that's something I get, even though we don't take commissions, I get like an email once a month of someone who's budding DJ.
Oh yeah, the next aspiring Deadmau5. Yeah.
Or a Twitch streamer who wants a cool helmet, and I just don't respond.
No.
But that was our one helmet we've done that has glowy lights and everything. And you did a great job, Bill.
I'm still very proud of how it turned out.
It looks great. And
I wonder where it is now.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, hopefully it's at the game studio if they're still a thing. Yeah. Thanks
so much for hanging out with us, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this walk down memory lane. I sure did. Thanks so much for the support, and we'll see you next week with more goofing around here in the shop. Bye, gang.